All right, so now it's time to start scraping the fat meat off of here. It can be kind of tricky to get started because it's hard to hold on to this little end piece where I like to start off, and it's a little sticky. So what I do is I take my knife here and I just scrape along and just try to get the meat off, just the extra meat and fat off of here. So I'll kind of like stretch it out, stick into my gloves a little here. Sometimes it's good to put a little water on there so it's a little slicker. See if I can move my hand so you can see. Careful not to cut the hide here. Going this way is a little harder. When I turn and go the other direction, it's a little easier. You see there's like, you know, you get this kind of fat and meat out of here. You want it all, as much as you can, off of here before you start tanning it. It's a good amount there. Just throw it in a trash bag on the side there. This part, like I said, is hard to handle. Just be careful. You don't tear through the hide. I mean, it's really not that fragile, to be honest. It's got scales and all that, but it's definitely not impervious to ripping. So just kind of get started on this end. Kind of want to hold the blade pretty perpendicular, best you can. Nice sharp edge. Scrape that stuff off. A lot of people will just cut these scales off, these rib scales off to begin with, but I just keep it all until I'm done, and then when it comes to leather working, I can decide what I want to do with it, or if somebody wants to purchase off of me and want to use them, then they have the full set to do whatever they want, and that could be a decorative piece. You know, it could be something. You know, you might use that. And it's also pretty strong and sturdy, and it holds the rest of the scales on. So if you start doing a piece of leather and you want to have it like inset in a piece of leather, and you have the leather fold, say, over the scales, that would be a strong hold there. You know, like if you do a holster or a sheath and you have this showing and the leather kind of goes over this end, then that's actually a pretty strong hold. So not bad. Be careful not to stick it down the wrong way too long, like I was just showing that, because it sticks. It'll just dry and stick. And definitely when you go to pin it, don't pin it that way either. My very first snake I ever did, I didn't follow instructions very well and pinned it down the wrong way, and I came back and tried peeling it off the board, and sure enough, it just came all apart. Just came all apart on me. So I had the scales going the wrong way. As most young men, they just don't listen too good. And that was me. Always learning the hard way. But anyway, so you just go along like that. Try and hold it open and just move yourself along. I usually do this barehanded. I put on gloves recently and keep the snake stink off me, but kind of sticking. Gloves are kind of sticking. So I kind of use my one finger here to try to push it flat as I go, so I can just keep on scraping. And with my other hand, I'm pulling the hide towards me. And this you can kind of start making some progress like this. So you just go through the entire thing like that, all the way down the entire snake, and then you want to come back and do it again, and just give it one quick go over, and then you'll be ready to throw it in a jar of alcohol and glycerin. 50% rubbing alcohol, 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol. So 50% of that and 50% of the vegetable glycerin. Just throw it in a jar and let it sit in there for about a week. And that's it. You take thumbtacks, you tack this thing open just like I'm working it now, scale side down, about every half inch or so, just like you're gonna use a ton of tacks. I got a whole bin of, like a small bin of tacks off of Amazon. They're really cheap. So, I mean, I use probably 100 tacks in these guys. And I've got 3 rattlesnakes ready to go here soon, so I'm gonna probably need to order some more tacks or keep some in the glycerin a little longer, which won't hurt them. But anyway, so I think you get the gist. Move your way along all the way like that. And then once we get to the very end here, this is a spot that's real hard to work, okay? So I kind of usually hit this up last. This is where the rattle and the reproductive organ and everything and all this stuff is at, and it's just really tough to get at, and it's just hard to do. So I'll be getting real intricate and snipping and cutting and pulling this meat off. And then when you get all the way down to the bead and you get the skin pulled all the way up to here, the rattle, I mean, then you can cut the meat off right there. It's okay to leave like a little bit, just like a quarter inch or so of like meat holding the rattles on right there. It's no big deal. The glycerin and the alcohol is gonna do its job on that little tiny little chunk of meat. It's not gonna be a big deal at all. Try to get it all, but if you get too close to the end here, you could actually ruin this bead and make it break off. So just be careful. All right. Okay. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helped. And this is definitely a better video than the first one I did, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one much more.